Welcome back to Dark Knights. We left off in Carado's backstory. I guess it's called a flashback. It's not easy to blend into society. Many questioned my origins, and strange rumors about me were going around. I worked hard to clear the rumors so that I would not land in a bad situation. I often snooped around my parents' workplace. There were several unsolved cases from my original era left aside. Cracking them was just a matter of making deductions based on my own knowledge at that time. The adults found the information I shared helpful. I even got recommended to help out with the investigations. I never stopped thinking about the box and my curse, so I frequently went around trying to find more information. After some time, I quickly figured out how the curse worked. The transformation would happen at specific times and only temporarily. I could never fully control when or where it would happen, but I've gotten a lot better at hiding it. I frequently practiced what the priest had taught me, honing my skills enough that I could hold my own if I were to ever encounter a supernatural entity. There were a lot of legends that popped up during the years about ghosts, demons, and guardians. As it turns out, there are more kinds of supernaturals than the angel last time. I wouldn't call that an angel. Angels are only men. Or male. Thanks to Shane, a hunter I met because of our parents being colleagues, I understood more about them. Years passed by. I managed to climb the ranks of the police force and eventually was given a promotion. I wanted to become an investigator for justice and to save people. It felt like a dream come true. Congratulations, Crowder. You've earned this rank. Man. Soon you might be a special investigator, big boy. That'll take some decades. I'm not particularly talented, it's all hard work. There was another boy around your age working in the same section. His name is Shane. He's not too much of a social butterfly, but I hope you get along. Yes, sir. After the promotion, I got invited to a training camp. I met a girl named Petiko. She was my first partner. It was nice to talk with someone with similar goals. By the way, you two will be working under special investigators on a mission. Lately, there have been a few reports about a man-eating demon in the forest. It was probably caused by something else. I suggest not to take it too literally. Ideally, the goal is to confirm that the rumors are false and calm down the villagers. I expect good things from you both. I presume that rumor has something to do with that guy we met, but this isn't his route, so I doubt we'll ever get an answer. Two officers older than us entered the room then. Even though they were introduced themselves, their names did not stand out much to me. Investigators usually work in pairs, but this was the first and last time I did. One of our seniors was a friendly woman. The other was more of a grump, his face constantly fixed into a grimace. They filled Petiko and I in about the demon reports as well as our agenda. For now, we were only going to patrol around spots where the demon had been sighted. After the briefing, we headed towards the forest with the investigators leading the way. I hesitated for a bit at the entrance, and my partner patted my shoulder before we entered. It seems she could tell I've never been in this environment before. I did my best to look confident in front of my seniors. As we went deeper into the forest, the seniors went off the path. I had no clue about the direction, so I just followed them. There's nothing really extraordinary in the environment. Suddenly, I saw a familiar shadow in the distance. Maybe there's nothing. We should head back to the office. We're not going unless they say so. We haven't explored the west side yet. Come on, Kura, don't look so tense. Besides, walking around the forest is definitely better than those training squats back at camp. Panic only built within me. Every time I turned to look, the shadow seemed to be getting closer. When I turned to look, my partner was no longer beside me. Petiko? The investigators widened their eyes. Both called for her name, but there was no response. Crowder, you should head back to the camp and report. Report what? If she's a real officer, she can find her own way back. The female senior briefly shot him a glare, then turned back to me. Listen, go back and tell the chief that Petiko got lost in the forest. Don't listen to her. We should finish the mission first. It surprised me that they started arguing. I glanced around. The shadow was gone now. Following my gut, I began heading back. Hey. The man tried stopping me, but she held him back. Something told me the situation was dire. After running back into the office, I see someone on the floor. Underneath his body was a pool of blood. When I tried to approach him, a gunshot boomed in my ears. Pain instantly burst in my shoulder and I was thrown forward onto the floor. I thought you were on a mission. What was that idiot doing? The person turned away from me for a moment. An officer? There were footsteps behind me, shuffling around the office. With a hand over my bleeding shoulder, I struggled to sit up, trying to see what was going on. Within a second, I understood what he was doing. He's stealing the donations, and he mentioned something else. The first thing that came to mind was the investigator who tried to keep us in the forest. I can only assume they were working together. I should report this to the higher-ups. This pain is hard to bear. With my good arm, I slowly reached for my gun in my inner pocket. The man must have been keeping an eye on me because he suddenly turned in my direction. He kicked me in the stomach, causing me to roll back. I held my breath while he pointed his gun at me. Without any word, he reloaded and prepared to pull the trigger. Time seemed to slow down when everything around me shrank after a burst of light. My opponent was totally dazed from what happened. I took this opportunity to escape. I returned to the forest to find my superiors, but both of them were gone. At the same time, my transformations became more inconsistent, so I was unable to return to the village. I ended up spending weeks in the forest to investigate. The male investigator had probably killed his partner then fled. As time passed, negative rumors were spread about me. Everyone thought I killed my partner and the higher-ups. After collecting enough information, I managed to track down the missing investigator. He had hidden my coworkers' corpses in his attic, which was enough to prove him guilty. So I turned him in and got promoted to a special investigator. Corrado bears his face in his hands. I wrap my arms around him and gently stroke his back. It's difficult when people you know are involved. I had many thoughts during the story. Corrado's life was one unfortunate event after another. If I had known, I would have done so much back in my childhood. He looks up and touches my cheek. I realize it's wet. Why are you crying? Oh dear, I knew I shouldn't have told you. No, you should have told me this earlier. I always thought something bad happened to the bunny. I couldn't sleep for days. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't make me worry so much. Corrado gives me a casual smile and nod. Time passes peacefully until the day of the school ball, to which I will have to make a choice, probably. Corrado's been quite busy with work, so I wasn't able to ask him out. Leoji had no partner either, so we paired up in the end. I tap my foot impatiently as I wait in front of my house. The sun is starting to set, there's no sign of Leoji. I have to go soon if I don't want to miss the entire party. Eventually, I decide to just leave grumpily and head to school. When I see him again, he'll receive a surprise from me. The streets are now empty at this hour. I can only hear the echoes of my heels. Suddenly, I hear a faint hiss from behind. It comes closer, and soon after I notice a long shadow cast on the ground. The sound of their heavy breaths get louder. Hey. As soon as I know something is off, I try to increase my pace. Unfortunately, the clothes I'm wearing are not suited for running. Hey! Even though I'm ignoring him, the man keeps calling out to me. I glance back to check. He catches up surprisingly fast. I'm so focused on the man that I bump into someone I turn the corner. Miyako, what are you doing out here all alone? Corrado, you almost scared me to death. I think the guy behind you already did the job. My focus shifts back to the man and I squeeze Corrado's hand. He's possessed by evil spirits. Thank goodness I happen to be investigating this area. Corrado releases me and charges for the man. A circle of small lights appear around his hand. Once close enough, he shoots them at his target. It's the man at his side, and his body is thrown back against a nearby wall before hitting the ground. Somehow the man remains conscious. Approaching him, Corrado chants a spell to purify the evil spirits. I watch a dark mass lead the body and the man stops moving soon after. Weren't you a little rough? There are many other ways to prevent him from moving, but I'm not that creative. Heh, one more down. Don't worry, he'll wake up later. Aside from a few possible bruises, he should be fine. Is this area clear? Both Corrado and I turn to the familiar voice. How long have you been standing here? Chain. Corrado's expression freezes and I wonder what he's worried about. You didn't see that, right? See what? Chain raises his eyes and turns to the unconscious man. If he's dead, then take the body to our headquarters. He's not dead. He's a random passerby who probably collapsed from too much, I think. Okay. I'm done with the East and South District, so I'm heading this way. You coming? I'm not done here yet. You're slow. You know what? I'll handle it myself. Shane gazes at me once more before going off. Once he's out of sight, Crowder lets out a small sigh. He swiftly removes his hand from my mouth. What was that for? Don't tell him that I'm purifying the spirits. Doesn't he know about it? I don't know how to explain my powers. If he finds out, soon he'll think I'm some sorcerer using forbidden magic. Isn't that what you are, besides a bunny? He rubs his hair and sighs again. He'll put me in a coffin. Did you know he kills off the possessed people? He has no mercy. Why don't you tell Shane you've got different methods? Then he'll ask what my method is and put me under suspicion. Anyway, enough about this matter. Without another word, he places an arm around my waist, then another one under my thigh, and lifts me, bridal style. Why are you carrying me? Don't you have a ball tonight? You'll hurt your feet if you walk all the way. But this is embarrassing. If you'd rather a piggyback ride. I remain speechless in his arms. I'm not to admit to him, but I'm happy to see him. Will you join the party too? I can't do my work properly with Shane around, so I guess I'll join you. I can't help but chuckle. Later, we arrive at the school. I'm surprised by how many people turned up. I can barely recognize my classmates in fancy clothing. Some of them start looking at me, and I quickly tell Crowder to put me down. I catch a familiar face in the corner of my eye. Hey, I'm gonna tease him for a bit. Hey you, Lyoji. Our friend looks startled when I approach him, shouting his name. He's about to run when I cut off his escape route and grab his tie. What's the meaning of this? I got a last minute call from the discipline committee. They were short on members, so I had to go on patrol. I meant to call you, but then I realized I left my phone at home. My eyes narrow and he averts his gaze. I'm sorry, I didn't know how to contact you. How did you get here, by the way? Corrado slides next to me, coiling an arm around my waist. He smirks at Lyoji. I carried her all the way in my... It's fine, I just walked. You're making me feel even guiltier. Lyoji greets Corrado with a nod and rubs his neck. Anyway, I won't bother you too much with your duties. Have fun. Lyoji chuckles while I pull Corrado with me. We spent some time in the bar, mostly just chatting in the corner. After a while, we head to the balcony for some fresh air, and then a murder happens. The night appears more mysterious with the moon hidden behind the clouds. After my eyes get used to the darkness, I notice more stars appearing in the sky like tiny lights slowly being switched on. This is a pretty image. I lean on the railings while I watch the scenery. I wouldn't lean on the railing if I were you. Might get pushed off. I do not mind the silence at all, though. I vaguely remember Akuya saying something about it feeling comfortable when you are with the right person. A waiter passes by with a tray of drinks. Both of us take a cup before he leaves. While taking sips of my drink, I glance at Corrado. Even though he was friendly at the beginning, there was always some sort of distance between us. We turn to each other while we speak at the same time. You first. This will go on forever. Can I go first? His fingers play with the glass cup. I wait curiously for what he's about to say. This may not be the best timing, but... He pauses for a moment to take a deep breath. I'm glad I can talk with you at this. At first, I didn't want to tell you the strange story of how we met out of fear. You wouldn't believe me. Even though our first encounter was brief, it made a huge impact on me. Ever since then, I haven't been able to forget you. I didn't have a reason to approach you until our paths crossed again. At some point, I noticed strange things happening around you, and I just couldn't watch from a distance. Even though I'm awful at introductions, I didn't want to miss the chance. He gives me a shy smile. It was just bok choy and water, you know. I even treated you like a pet and everything. When you mentioned that you knew me from before, I almost thought I had amnesia. If we had met as children, I definitely would have remembered you. I can't imagine finding out the one I treasured forgot about me. I'm sorry. Don't be. The smile's contagious. I can't but do the same. Suddenly, we hear a loud scream from the ballroom. Of course, the music has stopped, replaced by collective hushed whispers in the room. Called it. Nothing good ever happens in ballrooms. I instantly see Lyoji in the middle of the crowd waving his arms. Nope, panicking please, let's just move out quickly and calmly evacuate. Grotto and I walk straight to Lyoji instead. What's going on? Why are you still here? You should be... Grotto steps forward, pulling out an investigator badge. Lyoji eyes wide in surprise as he glances between the two of us. Then he nods in understanding. Students were acting strangely earlier. When a guy approached them, they suddenly attacked him. The guy was bleeding heavily, but they probably had a weapon. Someone already called for an ambulance, but we can't find the guy anywhere. Are you the two still here? They escaped somewhere, I'm not fully sure about the details. Before I could ask anything, Corrado's already run off. It's probably a zombie. Or they're possessed. It's hard to keep up with Corrado when he heals. I slow down to catch my breath, still keeping my eyes on him. When he turns another hallway, I continue to chase after him. Shortly after, I hear gunshots. Someone on the other end of the hallway is heading in my direction. Jace, why are you all covered in blood? It isn't mine. Suddenly he grabs me, wrist and pulls me towards him. He firmly holds me in place, his grip like steel. What the? Dare to shoot me now? It takes a second before I recognize Corrado's voice behind me. I slowly turn my face to peek at what's happening, but I'm too confused to speak. Corrado lowers his gun. His expression softens when our eyes meet. I hate this kind of situation. Before doing anything, I'm gonna hear them out first. Hey Jace, what's going on? Did you already take care of the two students? Yeah, I did. It was out of self-defense, and besides, they were possessed. Who cares about what happens to them? The deaths weren't necessary. I could have done something about it. You can't be everywhere at once. It's not up to you to decide anyway. Release Miyako now. I'm gonna be sure you won't shoot me after. It's probably a good time to get out of their way. Well, I think I had to get away from Jace. Corrado raised his hand to draw a magic circle in the air. I glanced over Jace's shoulder to see more circles appearing behind him. Jace clicks his tongue again. He must have noticed them too. I expect him to release me so he could defend himself from both sides, but instead he yanks me closer. Using his other arm like a shield, he deflects the spell that comes his way. It feels like I'm choking. Miyako? Not a smart move, you know. Corrado casts more spells to keep Jace busy while he moves closer to rescue me. Once he's near enough, Jace shoves me aside and takes his chance to attack Corrado. He pulls off the bandage around his hands, exposing his hands to show claw-like weapons. With no time to evade, Corrado gets hit. Jace does not falter and continues attacking. Delivering blow after blow at him, Corrado conjures up defensive magic circles to block them. This is revenge for what you did to my brother. You think I killed him, but I just sent him to a different dimension. Even if that's true, he's still gone. Actually, he was the one who insisted on coming here to fix you. I know everything about your past. If you weren't involved with the people here, it'd be easier to erase all traces of you. I was trying to find other methods, now I don't care anymore. The guys continue to fight, but now Corrado's at a disadvantage because of his injured arm. The only person Jace is willing to listen now is his brother. This is a risk, but I don't have any other ideas. I don't have any physical strength to extinguish the fire between them, so I try to convince them with words. Both of you are working on erasing the ongoing plague in the village. If you kill each other, what will become of this place? Corrado, you should have let Blaze come back. That guy is even crazier than this one. Trust me on this. Jace lowers his weapon and looks at me with suspicion. Despite that, he gives Corrado space. Corrado is doubtful at first, but lowers his arm as well. He reaches into his pocket to take out a few charms. I notice his injured arm is shaking as he performs the chant. I quickly move to his side to help him out. It takes a while, and a few failures before we manage to summon a large magic circle. A dark-haired male slowly steps out of the portal-like platform. The circle disappears in an instant after his entire body is out. By the shift in Jace's eye, he seems surprised and delighted. Corrado stays on guard considering what happened during their last encounter. He discreetly put his good arm behind his back, his lips slightly moving as he murmurs to himself. He must be really worried about what happened during their last encounter. This is the school grounds. Blaze? The man turns to the voice. Blaze takes one glass at Corrado and turns his back to leave. Where are you going? We have no business with him. Huh? What happened to you? Weren't you the one who said we can't leave him alone? Being stuck in a dark room with nothing but your own thoughts made me reconsider a few things. And here I thought you were strict on your principles. Blaze looks at me and feels that he knows what I'm thinking. It's a gamble what Blaze will do, but he's the one that can stop his brother. For some reason, I have faith in his words. I noticed that Jace was not pleased with the change of events, but he doesn't protest. After the twins leave, Corrado releases the spell he had prepared and rests against the wall. I move next to him for support. Wow, you really saved me back there. Thanks for putting faith in me. Corrado's smile suddenly fades as he reaches for his chest. He catches me off guard, making me stumble and trip backwards onto the ground. He suddenly changes into a large creature that seems like a grown-up version of the usual small bunny. I stare in awe. Crotto's voice resounds in my head. I reached my limit. I'm so confused. It's the curse that's growing worse. The beast kneels, his clear turquoise eyes boring into mine. I raise my hand to caress his fluffy cheek. One of its front legs is still red, staining even the fur around the wound. It seems the wound is halfway closed. Oh, your arm's still hurt. Can you move? We need to get you out of here quickly. Crotto looks over my shoulder and emits a low growl. Hey. I freeze up on the spot, then slowly turn my head. Shane glares at us with suspicious eyes, his gun already pointed at Crotto. Tell me, how long has he been like this? Not knowing my answer, I stand up and extend my arms to block his way. Put the gun down. Step aside. I'll shoot even if you don't move. Crotto's your friend. You know he won't harm anybody. You don't know what this curse might do to him. I still won't back away. As you wish. Based on his words, it sounds like he's trying to convince me, but then I immediately hear a gunshot. Shane's eyes are cold, truly, like a hunter's. I hear for the pain, but something catches the bullet. I hear a soft growl behind me, followed by the hem of his dress being tugged from behind. Crotto's back on his feet, facing the other direction. Get on, we're moving. And we're having to run away from him. Nice, nice. What, do I have to sit on top of you? Hurry up or I'll sit on you instead. The comment makes me flustered and I hop onto his back. Without paying further attention to the chain, Crotto dashes away. He doesn't. His silhouette only gets smaller, which makes me relax a bit. Hey Crotto, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for protecting me back there. I am your bodyguard, you know. I'm sorry about what happened, Shane. Don't worry, I told you before it'd turn out like this. I pity him for being in such a terrible position. He might die the next time they meet. He must feel sad about it. Miyako, you're touching me all over. What else should I hold on to? Not that I mind though. You perv. Soon after I reach my house, I climb off his back. Wouldn't it raise suspicion if I enter your place? You've been doing that since the beginning. Besides, no one would come walking around this late. What are you gonna report, anyway? A giant wolf walked through my door? You won't be staying in this form forever, right? I'm not sure. I try to calm him down with gentle pets. Reacting to my touch, he leans into my palm. I check for other injuries, but he seems fine. Crotto covers his eyes with his paws. I lean closer, a bit worried. What's wrong? I'm just thankful to have you. I cannot hide my smile at his words. I give a pet to the top of his head, between his ears. Tonight he decides to sleep in the living room, so I grab a large blanket from my room and cover Crotto with it. Thinking about what happened tonight, my body is aching from all the action. I forgot to notice or notify Ryuji that I'm home. Oh well, he doesn't have his phone anyway. By the way, you're a sorcerer, right? Why don't you teach me? Might be a bit difficult in my current state. I want to learn those tricks you did. I do whatever it takes to protect you. You sound so cheesy right now. I cross my arms and poke his back. Don't get upset, I'll gladly teach you. If you are capable. Crotto took a bit of the blanket to cover my body too. I'll kick your... The weekend passes by. We attend school on Monday as usual. Miyako, how are you today? I'm doing fine. What about you? Good as well, thanks. I didn't see you on Saturday. What were you doing? Oh, I didn't go. I ended up making pancakes for Akuya. Huh? So you don't know then? They usually cancel the date without telling me. Oh my goodness, how could he do such a thing to you? His excuse was something about security duties. Still, that's no reason to just ditch you. He's the worst. I'll kick him later. I hope you enjoyed the night though, perhaps with someone else? The scene where Crotto carried me in his arms crosses my mind. She continues teasing me about it, so I shift the focus back to her. Ask what made her skip the ball. I was all dressed up, but then he said that a murderer might be walking around that night. Just a hunch, apparently. He always did have an oddly accurate gut feeling. Oh right, I heard something bad happened at the ball. Do you know what happened? There's barely any details about it. No, I was on the balcony when it happened. Something about students attacking someone. I only found out when everyone was already evacuating. I usually should know more about it. I see. Hi, Akuya, Miyako. Ask and you shall receive. The students caused a scene of the ball never been reported missing. Many rumors are being spread by the ones that didn't go to the ball. Oh, hi, Leoshi. So what happened after? Some investigations hinted they might be dead. And don't hi, Leoshi me. Jeez, Miyako. You have no idea how worried I was. You were gone for so long, I went to look for you. But when they said the building was empty, I had no choice but to go home. I acted in the heat of the moment. Since you weren't carrying a phone, I thought it'd be useless to contact you. But you had after... and yesterday. Leoshi shakes his head and lets out a deep sigh. By the way, Leoshi. Akia hits him in the chest. That's for not going to the ball with Miyako. Ow, right in the heart. Let me make it beat again, then. You really do follow your promises. When class starts, Akia looks around the classroom. First place, now Jace too? What happened to the twins? None of the other students know. Neither does the teacher. I wonder if they decided to leave the village now that Crowd is no longer their target. During lunchtime, I make sure no one's around before I grab my bag. Open and poke inside. Hey, it's safe now. Ha. Crowdo sticks his head out. He seems to be gasping for breath. Sorry, my bag's a bit cramped. At least you turned back into a small bunny. Did you really have to pack this many books? I feel suffocated. Hey, this was your idea. Either suck it up or stay at home in fear that Shane will break into the house to kidnap you. Investigators don't break into people's houses. If you can do it, why can't Shane? ... Anyway, you hungry? By the way, what about your job? Won't they notice your absence? I know you do daily reports. I've been doing pretty well so far. Skipping for a bit won't be too suspicious. What about, you know? I don't think Shane would report these sorts of incidents, so I think I'm safe for now. Do you think he'll go after you? Who knows? Right now there are more important things on his plate. It's not a solid theory, but I think my curse might disappear once this village is clean of evil spirits. Miyako, will you help me with this? Of course. I've been waiting for you to ask since the beginning. I pet the bunny. I eventually convince him to rest at home, since lugging him around in my bag will not help him any. After a few days, his injuries unhealed, which turns him back into a human. It seems his injuries heal faster when in beast form. He's doing his best to avoid Shane as well, which is considerably difficult because they have the same job. But for now, he mostly stays away from Shane's patrol spots. As promised, Crowd has been teaching me a few protective chants. I also learned how to use charms so I can support him in his investigations. The sitting duck to his partner is the whole upgrade. I've been enjoying these days much more than before. Miyako, right over here. I place the charms where Crowd instructs me. Right after I finish, we see a stray possessed person heading our way. Charms rise to surround him, binding together to cage it in. To purify them, Crowd chants a spell. The zombie collapses instantly. Lately, it's been getting easier to locate our targets, and our cooperation is improving. I'm glad we didn't bump into Shane tonight. I can predict his pattern because I've known him for so long, but he can change it entirely to throw me off if he wanted to. The fact that he hasn't made a move at all, I'm just worried he'll outwit me at some point. That would be after we finished with the job. Be more confident. His expression brightens upon looking at me. We continue this routine every night. I don't know how long the road is ahead, but we're moving in the right direction. Normal end 4. Achievement, Beauty and the Bunny. Well, I know there's good ends and bad ends. So, I wonder what... You know, it probably has something to do with, what's it called? Whether I pick Blaze or Kaichi. Shinigami, dude. Oh well. We'll try to get the other endings next episode, since I do plan on playing through other routes. After I finish Crowdo, I'll go to this guy. Since... Actually, this is Roya's brother. Neat. I just put 2 and 2 together. Nice. I hope you've all enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Comment, subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. as always, goodbye.